The Strangers Prey at Night is a sequel to 2008's The Strangers with only the killers returning, so it kind of works as a standalone movie. It's slow, boring, and inconsistently acted and edited. Moreover, the characters are completely two-dimensional. Backstory, motivation, and development are lacking and or totally missing. The family makes many stupid decisions, and the killers are implausibly always aware and in control. Its gravest sin? This slasher thriller just isn't scary. In fact, I found myself laughing at the masked killers just standing around, acting casual. I was getting a little frustrated and was about ready to rip this film apart. Then, something clicked. Maybe it was Stockholm Syndrome or delirium, but I started to care about two of the characters, watching them actually grow competent and fight back. While ironically inappropriate 80s soft rock love ballads blared, I began to perk up and smile. Everything became silly, playful, and fun. Despite a laundry list of problems, ladies and gentlemen, my guiltiest of apologies, but I mildly enjoyed half of this movie. That said, I'll give you plenty of reasons not to see it. This review will contain spoilers for Acts 1 and 2, and a little bit of Act 3 this time. A timestamp for my star rating and pros cons chart is in the description. The Strangers Prey at Night follows a family of four going on a post-Labor Day vacation to their relative's rental trailer park near a secluded lake. The parents, Cindy and Mike, wish to reconnect with their kids, Kinsey and Luke, before Kinsey is shipped off to boarding school for her bad behavior, and Luke moves away to college. Unbeknownst to them, at least I hope so, three masked psychopaths have already checked in and proceed to stalk and mess with the family. Will any of them survive the night? The movie starts off on the right track as "We're the Kids in America, whoa" began blaring over the opening titles. I had a big grin on my face. Okay, ironic, upbeat 80s jams. The movie doesn't want to take itself too seriously, and I might be in for some playful fun. The three strangers ominously drive their old Ford pickup truck into an elderly couple's driveway, with the song still blaring on their stereo. I was excited to see what the opening had in store. Welp, it was a whole lot of dragged out buildup culminating in a loud and inappropriate music jump scare. The strangers' actions are meant to be creepy and unsettling. The jump scare noise disrupted what could have been a quiet and chilling moment of privacy invasion. Instead of having goosebumps when Prey at Night cut to its title, I was thinking, that was it? That was cheap. To be fair, without the jump scare noise, the opening scene would have no payoff of any kind. Now it's time to meet the fam! Kinsey, the daughter, is crying in her room, presumably lamenting her bad behavior that is tearing her family apart. I recognize the actress, Bailee Madison, from her role as the cute little hammy sister in Bridge to Terabithia, and Parental Guidance, and Alone in the Dark, and Just Go With It, etc. I thought she was a charismatic and energetic child actress, and she seems to be making the transition to adult acting well enough, with a few of her more emotional panics later on being pretty convincing. Ms. Madison is well cast as the sweet sister that's lost her way. I look at her and I think, she's a good kid. Must be in some kind of trouble. Her brother, Luke, looks like an older Tom Holland. He's a goody-goody, top of his class. Parents love him, setting unreasonable expectations for Kinsey. Luke just doesn't understand why Kinsey has been acting out so stupidly, expressing little pity for the grave she's dug herself. Kinsey calls him queef breath. The dad, Mike, is like, what is queef? Huh? He must not have seen Ghostbusters Answer the Call. Mike's actor seems to be an experimental genetic splice of Zach Braff and Gerard Butler. He is concerned whether he and his wife are doing the right thing. Where did we go wrong? Cindy, played by Christina Hendricks, comes off like the guilty party to me. At first, I thought she was Kinsey and Luke's stepmom or something. Maybe she married Mike too soon after Kinsey's mother passed away. I based this assumption off the way Kinsey seems a little bit more responsive to her father. That, and the extra effort Cindy makes to awkwardly bond with Kinsey, painted a picture of an outsider, not a birth mother. Maybe I missed a line about Cindy never being around for Kinsey because of her work. When Cindy catches Kinsey smoking in a restaurant parking lot, there's a flatly acted scene in which Cindy bums a cigarette off of her delinquent daughter. Like, yeah, it's okay to be bad sometimes. And Kinsey's like, I'm a teen. I'm supposed to act out. That's no excuse to send me away. Apparently, Cindy gave up on her daughter too easily. I don't know. Be nice if I ever got any context. During this conversation, the filmmakers show off the first of many one-shot, long-take dialogue scenes. The camera starts with a full-body two-shot and dollies toward them into a medium shot as the discussion grows more intense. It's ambitious, but the actresses needed more rehearsal. They seem to be more concerned with nailing when they are supposed to say their lines based on the camera movement rather than just naturally responding to their scene partner. Cindy will say something, weird pause. Kinsey will say something. And it's not just the pause, though. They are also not reacting much with their faces and body language, which would have added much needed tension within the pauses. Here, the actresses are speaking, then resetting. Their energy and emotion doesn't carry past their immediate line delivery. It's stilted and very deflating. There are a lot of these inconsistent and poorly timed acting moments throughout the first half of the movie. Annoyingly, many of them could have been fixed with tighter editing, such as when the dad asks Luke to put down his phone. We cut to a medium profile two-shot, and it takes a good 2 to 3 seconds for Luke to say, "All right." Meanwhile, the actors are not interacting enough to justify the pause. The dad could have raised his eyebrows like, "I'm serious," then gestured downward with his forehead to signal, "Put it down." Nonverbal communication is really lackluster in this movie, making all of the dramatic pauses feel blandly exaggerated. If the performances between the line deliveries aren't working, then I prefer they trim the shots to begin with the next line of dialogue, avoiding these weird pauses. Between these drawn-out, awkward acting scenes, there are some nice atmospheric shots of the shadowy, abandoned trailer park, murky browns, dewy greens, and yellow lampposts with fog rolling in. Unfortunately, since the character scenes were so boring, these ominous shots were not a tranquil yet foreboding reprieve. Rather, they were further slowing down the pacing. The Strangers Pray at Night is only 70-something minutes without credits, yet it feels much longer. This material is stretching to fit the feature-length runtime, and it's hurting itself in the process. There is so much empty space. Why not throw in some character development? All we get when the family arrives at the trailer park is Mike saying this parenting thing is hard, Kinsey storming off, Mike and Cindy having a admittedly nice Tinder moment, though it amounts to, well, at least it'll be great to have the kids out of the house so we can fornicate. And then Luke confronts Kinsey about her bad behavior. Honestly, this brother and sister bonding scene won me back a little, reminding me of my relationship with my sister. They are siblings around the same age, able to understand what the other is going through as a peer, with the added bond of growing up under the same roof. While they tease and give each other a hard time, it is like they were long-forgotten best friends, rekindling over common ground to have a good time on the trip. Each help bring the other down to earth, realizing that there's a person they love beneath the attitude and actions they hate. Nice. It's frustrating then that we never find out Kinsey and the family's full backstory. All we know is that Kinsey was flunking and skipping school. Okay, but there is no reason given why. Why has Kinsey been acting up? A stepmom angle would have been something. Teens just act up sometimes. Is nothing. I don't know who is to blame in all of this. Everyone feels guilty about it. Why? Beats me. The acting is dull, the movie is slow, then the killers show up in the same night the family arrives before I've even gotten a chance to care about the characters. These existing family introduction scenes needed to be tightened up, and new scenes of the family bonding needed to be added. If Kinsey and her family had been halfway to making up or having a breakthrough in their relationships, then there would have been far more tension and tragedy and the horror that follows. All of them could have just been beginning to remember how much they love each other. And then psychopaths come and permanently destroy their family. This could have been emotional, involving, powerful stuff. At first, I thought they were building towards a twist ending. Maybe the filmmakers were intentionally keeping the family distant because Kinsey was going to be tempted to join the Strangers and kill her family at the end of the movie as part of her initiation. Cue a sinister reprisal of, "We're the kids in America. Whoa! No such luck. Instead, Pray at Night plays it straight and poorly. When are the killers gonna finally show up? Knock knock. Is Tamara home? Sorry, you must have the wrong house. Knock knock. Is Tamara home? You lost. Maybe I spoke too soon. It's kinda creepy. Compounding everything was a 2006 era digital projector that has horrible contrast ratio. The movie is over 95% at night, and an early generation digital projector with a dim bulb just can't handle it. The black levels are a washed out gray, causing tons of shadow detail to be lost. The movie finally kicks into gear when Luke and Kinsey find a mutilated body in one of the trailers, but the digital projection was so bad that the gory corpse was just a gray blob. No discernible detail. Luke and Kinsey run back to their trailer yelling. Mike and Cindy meet them outside. Neither Luke nor Kinsey advise the family to take the conversation inside, given what's happened, where they all conveniently left their cell phones to be smashed off screen. The siblings tell the parents about the dead body. The car is close by. Instead of making a run for it, the dad inexplicably needs to be taken to see the body for himself. Look, I know he doesn't trust Kinsey for underexplained reasons, but Luke is the academic goody two-shoes. He should be insulted that his dad doesn't take his word for it. What, does he think that Kinsey infected his mind during a single 20-minute stroll through the park? Moreover, Dad says they should split up. Mom and Kinsey, lock yourself in the trailer. Luke, you come with me. Ruh-roh! The bad decisions escalate from here, and the family irritatingly shows no survival instincts. At one point, Luke is yelling to his dad, "What do you want me to do?" Mike hilariously responds, "Get the frick out of here!" I like Mike a bit now. Meanwhile, Mom and Kinsey are facing off against one young woman with a knife. It's 2 versus 1. You are on the kitchen side. Grab some sharp utensils and get her. Another time, Luke has a loaded gun pointed right at one of the killers and refuses to fire. And you know what? While that may be frustrating as an audience member, it fits the character. Luke has a clean record and a bright future ahead of him at college. He's a swell guy that doesn't want to be a killer if he doesn't have to. Heck, in real life, I'd hesitate to kill an unarmed woman too. I guess I don't have a problem with this one. I'm sure plenty of others will. Gotta represent. From here on out, it's the masked strangers standing stiffly out in the open. The family will enter a random trailer, and it turns out a stranger is already set up inside with a spooky jack-in-the-box or something. The family runs. The strangers are where they need to be. Rinse, repeat. The best moments early on involve the inevitability of a character being killed as the strangers act disturbingly calm and take their time. One scene with a family member trapped in a car with a stranger slowly evolves from casually amusing to horrifically hopeless. I just wish I had cared more for the character beforehand. Finally, there is a good one-shot, long-take scene involving a panicked Luke attempting to calm down an even more hysterical Kinsey by reminding her about a funny memory from their childhood. The young actors pull off the transitions well and maintain the adrenaline of the moment, particularly Bailee Madison, that convincingly shifts her brain from terrified to nervous, relatable laughter and then back to slightly less terrified at a breathless pace. Well done. Shortly after, another stupid split-up decision occurs. I grow restless as Luke runs off to the manager's office by himself to call for help. Then, a stranger comes running up behind Luke with a knife and... whack! One of the most hilarious and satisfying hits to the face I've ever seen on screen. I let out an audible laugh of joy in the theater. Yeah! With one stroke, Luke knocks some sense into himself and the movie. These strangers are just people in masks. Time to fight back. What follows is the most satisfying scene in the film, as Sackhead becomes enraged while Luke taunts him with, "How's it feel, huh? Come on!" They proceed to have a back and forth brawl by a pulsating Christmas-lit swimming pool, with their actions being rhythmically timed to "Total Eclipse of the Heart," blaring on the PA system. Fantastic, I'm beaming. This is Act 3 territory at this point, so I'll keep it short. The final third of the movie maintains that playful energy from the pool scene until the very end, concentrating on Luke and Kinsey taking a proactive stance to save the family. Kinsey even has a clever, twisted smile of satisfaction on her face at one point. The conflict between the siblings and the strangers is really engaging, even if unoriginal. I mean, Wes Craven's been doing this for years. Still, it's a great way to win over an audience and get them rooting for the characters, no matter how shallow they were previously. While gun advocates may have been frustrated with Luke earlier, anyone who thinks that the strangers aren't scary because they would just shoot them will be satisfied later on. This movie is, perhaps unwittingly, pro-gun. It reminded me of You're Next, which is a fun send-up of the masked home invasion genre that the original Strangers started. You're Next asks, what would happen if a doomsday prepper's daughter was trapped inside the house with the incompetent family? Well, she starts to fight back and outsmart the masked invaders, turning these slasher tropes upside down. The Strangers Pray at Night is like, I gotta get me some of that. So the rest of the movie is pretty crowd-pleasing, at the expense of demystifying the strangers themselves, which fans of the original film may hate. And then there is a cliche, ambiguous ending. But at that point, I didn't even care. I left the theater with a smile on my face and making love out of nothing at all. Making love out of nothing at all stuck in my head. Besides the brother learning to do what is necessary, and the sister learning to value her family after it's too late, there is very little depth, backstory, or character development. The acting is inconsistent. Nothing happens in the first half, interspersed with long, spooky shots of smiley face mailboxes. The strangers are omniscient killers, and the family makes irrelatable choices. Slow, boring, not scary. And for a slasher movie, the kills are very tame and not creative. But then the final third had a huge spike in entertainment. I give The Strangers Pray at Night 3 out of 5 stars. This is not an objective quality rating. It's how much I enjoyed it. The movie is below average, probably bad. Read those negatives. But I left the theater happy. Does that redeem the boring introduction? Almost. If you can stomach the first half, you may end up having a so bad it's good fun time. Alternatively, wait for it to come out on video and then just look up the pool scene on YouTube. The Strangers Pray at Night is a rare example of why I don't leave movies early. Where are the kids? That was loud. Oh, that was kind of bad. A little sharp. What is queef? Huh? Be nice to have some context. Look, I know he doesn't trust Kinsey for underexplained reasons, but Luke. He is his father. Frick. Grab some Sharpington. He's a swell guy. Uh-oh. I'm losing my voice. I'm trying to drink some water right now. We might be in trouble. Or I could just, stop yelling so much. Total eclipse of the heart. That's bad. Total eclipse of the heart. Total eclipse of the heart. Fantastic. I'm beaming. Something clicked.